Hey guys, I'd hate to do this after all this time. I always post, deep videos or whatever, but I'm gonna go on a Second Amendment rant. Um, I was just thinking, if you live alone, it is your right. It is your 100% right to say, I don't want a gun because I don't think I think God's in charge. I think He will take care of everything. Whatever happens, happens, and if anything bad happens, that's what God asked for. Sure. Um, But if you have a wife, if you have kids, if you have even pets, can you look at the world through their eyes for 2 seconds and just tell them when a killer comes into your house, well, I don't believe in killing, so I chose no means to protect you, dear, or kids. So just let the robber take what he wants, and if he kills you, that's God's plan. That's not gonna fly, okay? And sadly, that's what I was taught when I grew up. I was taught, well, we'll just go in the back room and the dog's barking in our room will scare off the thief. Okay. That's a huge assumption. Most of the good shit is going to be in the master bedroom. They know the jewelry and the real money is hidden in there. It's not like it's a store where you have the cash register in your living room. And another thing is just that explain to your kids how, well, I believe in God more than trusting, myself with a firearm. So it's kind of weird to say, well, I don't believe in killing. I don't believe in killing, but I'm not going to defend myself if someone tries to kill you because I don't believe in killing. So so whenever you do raid in your house or have a pest control come, is that not killing something? I mean, it's not killing something, it's getting rid of the problem. Okay? And if the problem is a bunch of thugs run into your home and they're about to kill and rape your wife, I would assume that you would want to prevent that in any way possible. And sadly, you're going to need more than a kitchen knife, okay? Um, you're probably going to need something like this. Glock 17, 17 plus 1 in the chamber. That's a lot of bullets. And if you live in America, you live in a country where you're lucky enough that the Constitution allows you to be trusted with firearms. I mean, all I can think of is, I don't know, Switzerland as another gun-friendly country. But in America, it's our Second Amendment, obviously. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So when the government says you can have only 10 rounds in that gun because we don't trust you with 11 because with 11 that means you have bad intent. No, what if there's 11 thugs? What if there's 11 tyrannical SWAT team government members who are trying to take your guns? It's just a culture of fear. And the more you watch TV and the more you're brainwashed into thinking that only thugs and cops should have guns, the less you really understand this country. Thugs and cops are the bad guys. Did you ever think of that? I'm not talking about Tupac. Only God can judge me. Tupac was not a thug. He was not the guy robbing your purse, breaking into your home. He fought against his enemies, just like we all should. I'm not talking about non-self-defense situations, which he did many times, but that's his freedom of speech. I'm talking about being prepared for the worst. And if you live in a country where you're not allowed to have guns because the government doesn't think, you're good enough, and yet the government steals millions and billions of dollars every day for taxes, and they build roads but don't let you have education. They have all these pharmaceutical companies that their corporate heads are affiliated with, but you can't use shamanic psychedelics or whatever. That's your choice. But to defend your life, not only your life, but your girlfriend's life or your little puppy's life, you're going to need more than a kitchen knife. And I'm sorry, but no argument will ever trump the idea that security is more important than freedom. As Ben Franklin said, yes, he had problems. Yes, he was a womanizer. Yes, blah, blah, blah. They still have some good quotes. Benjamin Franklin said, if you give up a little freedom for security, then you deserve neither. Okay? Now, I just wanted to kind of, go into this because it really frustrates me that we're just still being taught that self-defense is, evil. Okay? Self-defense is our one survival mechanism in this life. And if you know that bad guys aren't going to go to Academy to buy their guns, they're not going to go to the local gun shop to buy a gun, they're not going to gun shows to buy guns, because you have to pass background checks at a gun show. I mean, I don't know how many liberals have been to a gun show, but they seem to claim all the time that there's a loophole. Whereas every, single gun show that I've heard about has a background check, because there's this magical thing called the internet where they can type in your information and the FBI will see if you've committed a crime before, or a felony, or something that will bar you from owning or possessing a firearm. So, pretty much every argument against guns is pretty null, unless you're mentally unstable. Okay, well, how do you prove that? Well, do you have a job? Can you maintain that job? Or do you have to jump around jobs? Do you have to do this? Do you have to do that? I mean, there's so many rules and regulations, even though the Second Amendment just happens to be the only one that says, shall not be infringed. So, I'm not saying I'm voting for Trump or not voting for Bernie Sanders or Hillary or, Ted Cruz. I'm not voting at all. That is my freedom to protest the shitty choices that they gave us. Okay? I'm not voting, and I've never voted. And I've had a couple chances to. I'm older than I look. I'm 29. But because I don't trust the system so much, which you shouldn't either, is sadly a reason I don't vote. Okay? Whatever happens, happens. I believe in God. I believe that God allows the world to be evil, so as to test the wise virgins. But that's a whole other can of worms, okay? I really think it's a moot point, and I think that if you don't want guns, that's fine. Don't buy one. You can watch your kid die in front of you and say, well, this is better than defending my kid. This thug's life, this criminal killer, whoever, it could be a white crackhead, could be a white no-namer. His life is more important than my son's because I don't believe in killing. Well, that's your right, okay? No matter how much you ban guns, the bad guys are still going to get it. Sorry, hate to break the news to you. The more laws you get, the more bad guys are fucking having a ball, okay? Maybe that's why Chicago had, 50 homicides in the first year of January, and first month of January, hasn't been that bad since the year 2000. And it's weird how a movie called Chirac comes about by Spike Lee, which says to get rid of guns. The thugs are laughing at movies like that, and the Republicans are too, because ain't no fucking rule is gonna stop a bad guy. That's the kind of the definition of bad guy. They don't follow the rules. But if you go to a gun-friendly state like, I don't know, Nevada or Arizona, crime isn't half as bad as Chicago, okay? And it's all about these fears that you have. And the strange thing is that gun owners, we all have our fears too, but gun owners choose to fight back, the law-abiding ones. So it's not really a crime to fight back. It's not a crime to defend your life with more than a kitchen knife, okay? I don't know why I went into this right now. Maybe because the moon is in Scorpio, so I'm more like, want to get to the bottom of something instead of just float around the surface in the realm of ideas. No, let's stick to the facts, man. And if you look at the facts, higher gun ownership cities, legal gun ownership cities, have less crime. And liberals just cannot wrap their minds around that because they think guns equal violence. No, bad guys equal violence, okay? But either way, it's your right to own a gun or not own a gun. But it shouldn't be your right to outlaw guns when it just happens to be the very second line in our Constitution. The first line is freedom of speech, which allows me to say my opinions without being arrested. The second line, metaphorically the line in the sand, is firearm ownership so as to keep a tyrannical government at bay. Democrats want to turn this country into communism. Republicans want to turn it into false Christianity. Okay? If Republicans just shut up about abortion, stem cells, gay marriage, they might, gain some respect from, so-called Democrats. But they want to enforce their religious beliefs on a country. Whereas the Democrats want to enforce their political beliefs on a country. If you want to be a communist, go to China. Have fun. Have fun letting your second baby, have to be dead because they have overpopulation over there. Have fun being disarmed in a country full of crime already. If you want communism, move somewhere else. But meanwhile, America will always be America. It's not going to be gun-toting, bacon-eating, chicken-fried apple pie. It's going to be what you make it. But you cannot outlaw law. And the law says people can defend themselves with more than a kitchen knife. Okay? And, ever since I had a home invasion, ever since I saw my stepmom on her knees with a gun to her head, and ever since my mom's house was broken into and luckily she wasn't there, I always thought, dang, what if they just decided to pull the trigger? Would I have the ability to have fought back legally? And yes, I live in Texas, so yeah, I do have the ability to fight back. But I'm just lucky, I guess. Most people are brainwashed and only watch TV instead of Google facts. It's the age of information, yet there's more disinformation than ever. As I've said before, this is the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages is truly alive when you don't think you're in the Dark Ages. Okay? Well, I've said what I had to say. I'm sure I've said some of this stuff before, but I just want to put a new, perspective on it. So, all you non-gun owners with wives and kids, explain to them why you don't want to defend them and why you think guns are wrong. And then I'm sure, they will, just agree with Daddy. But, since you're in charge, Daddy, or single moms, they need to be armed the most. But anyway, if you want to really be in charge and really protect yourself, you're gonna probably want to own a firearm sooner or later. But anyway, that's just my opinion, and I got more where that came from later.